You were there when I walked through the door for the first time at Ayresome Park.
Absolutely.
I think I was wearing a £1 coat. I don't know whatever happened to that coat, Mugger.
I remember you took it in your bag in the corner and you didn't talk to anybody. You strolled very purposefully past everybody. And you're like a man on a mission, really. I remember you. And
What was my bag? It wasn't an Adidas bag, I think it was a plastic bag, wasn't it?
probably burn. But no, I just remember how focused you seemed, really. You know, you came coming from Scotland trying to prove yourself. It's for anybody it's a brave thing to do, really. I think, you know, I think you had faith in your own ability that you could come and score goals, and you know, I try and put myself in that position to go into any football club and walk in on your own, just your bag, chuck it there and go and prove to a bunch of players that you're worth a contract and you're a good footballer is a big thing to do.
What did you think deep down then? You know, because obviously the team was struggling at the time.
Yeah.
Here's a guy that's walked in, 25 grand, £300 a week. Did you think, oh, here we go again? I've seen these guys come and go.
And to be fair, you know, as I go along in this game I'm doing now in trying to manage it, you think back to days like that, and I tend not to just bring players in, you know, because when a transfer window comes, you know, I get hundreds of players chucked at me to come, and I'm very wary unless I've seen them or I've seen a video that is particularly special. Or I've been to see the player myself, or a personal recommendation from somebody I trust. Otherwise, I won't get people in. But for you coming in that day, I think, you know, put into perspective, the club was at a pretty difficult time, and I think your record speaks for itself. Now, I wouldn't have known the standard of the football you were playing in, but anybody who scores the goal ratio that you scored, goals per games, it's well worth a look, because you can score in any brand of football. It's and you can take that to the next level, then you've got a real chance, which is what you did, and showed everybody you could.
Me and Archie, what was that partnership like? Off and on the field?
It was, well, on the field was, I think Archie, if we don't want to talk about Archie, I remember Archie's first day as well, our first training session. We actually trained on the pitch at Ayresome Park, from my recollection, and we were putting balls in the box, and he's Archie, you know, he looked like a rag and bone man, to be fair, couldn't he? But he,
He's still like that.
But I remember the first header that went in, and everybody just their mouths dropped open, because he leapt 20 foot in the air and he bulleted a header into the far corner, and everybody went, Jesus, look at the state. And Archie was like nonchalant about it. He says, oh, I can do that.
He wasn't a big lad, was he?
No, he was. You know, there's players being like that. He wasn't as small as like a David Speedy, but he could jump like a David Speedy, who was a player at the time who had a fantastic leap on him. But Archie was a great foil for you, really, because he could take the knocks, and he didn't mind the physical side. He won knock-ons and flick-ons. You and everybody knows would play on the shoulder of people and try and get in behind, and you know, you would you know, get on the end of a lot of Archie's. For me, a big strength of yours would be the anticipation, really. Sometimes you would try and nick a yard too often, and you know.
I think that was my lack of pace. I was getting caught offside because it was my lack of pace.
But the great thing about you would be that you knew your limitations of football, you knew your strengths, you knew how you needed to get the yard, so you needed to play on the edge. If you had Michael Owen's pace, you wouldn't have been offside, you know, anywhere near as much, because you'd have known your limitations. But for me, it doesn't matter if it's almost easy in hindsight to say that Bernie was offside too much, but bottom line, you get judged as a striker by your goals, and as I've just said, your goals ratio is there, and every year Bernie Slaven, whether we had a good season or a bad season, was top goal scorer.
Instead of ending up with 200, could have had 400.
I know that, but
so you as captain, it's more like you were obviously captain. You were a good one at that. Not because I'm talking to you, but who are the difficult guys to deal with? I mean, you're talking about players there, guys you trust, guys you don't trust, or who is it hard to deal with players?
I don't feel as if I, as captain, Bern, I ever had to deal with them. You know, I didn't really see it as my job to administer any sort of discipline or organisation, really. I try to lead by example, really, and be the person I am. And but we had a lot of characters in our dressing room, and I still keep in touch with one or two now. In fact, I was in a press conference, Dean Glover just phoned me, believe it or not, and was at Port Vale now, assistant manager, and so, you know, there's a few people still in the game that I talk to, but you know, if we're talking about personalities, you know, yourself and Pally together was quite a relationship.
And I have to say, we weren't gay.
No, but you wouldn't really put us together, to be fair, and yet as a friendship and a you know, a loyalty towards each other. I think for me it was great to see that a football club could have two players who played in, you know, the opposite ends of the football pitch, such a mutual respect, and I think that's born out of your individuality as individuals, but the respect you had for each other's abilities, because whatever, Pally was another one who came in looking like Bambi on ice there, and yet look at the footballer he became.
Amazing.
One of the best central defenders the country's ever produced, and I'm sure your friendship was born out of the respect he would have had for you as a goal scorer and somebody with the talent that, and I still now with our young players here at Hibs talk about the best finisher I've ever played with, and it's because we talk to them because the young players just want to lash things all the time, and they want to see it bulge in the net and knock the goalkeeper into the net, and I'm often talking to them about feeling for corners and just bending it nicely around, why passing into the net rather than smashing everything. There's got to be times when you smash it. It was only last week I was talking about a Bernie Slaven toe poke and the ball gets stuck between your feet. Why are you having another touch? Because you might not get a touch on a Saturday. Just stick your toe on it, and I saw you score many goals by toe poking the ball when it's under your feet, and you can generate some power with the toe poke.
Final question. Obviously, I do the radio.
Yeah.
I've been working with Ali for Ali Brownlee. Ali Brownlee,
of course
big fat lad. I've been working with him for 10 years. I think I've actually seen more games than I've actually played for the Borough. I've overtook that. I'm fed up listening to Ali. He's full of rubbish. I don't know if you ever heard him. He's full of crap. And I've got arthritis. Sitting in the stands isn't doing me any good. I'm not enjoying watching the football. No. So in the coming years, I'm sure you'll end up with medals. But I used to say that to you as a player, right? Yeah. When you do that, can you get me out of this sort of a rut I'm in? I want to be the striking coach. Will you bring me aboard?
Well, listen, it's quite topical again in Scotland.
Have you got
why you're making a joke? No, we don't. But I know Ali McCoist does a lot of that sort of thing. He does that with the Scottish national team, and I think he pops into Ibrox now and then and helps out. And I think there's a worth to be had if young players again particularly can have a respect for the talent that somebody's got, and whether it's one piece of information that you can give somebody that helps them 1%, it's worthwhile. And if you think you've got something to give, something that you watch when you're observing watch football that can benefit the team, then I'm a big believer that every coach should take every bit of knowledge from wherever he can get it, whether it's reading books, whether it's watching other people's videos, whether it's watching football matches, whether it's talking to other football people. There's no right way or wrong way to get the best out of your team, and if Bernie Slaven could help the strikers at my football club, then why not?
Job secure. Thanks very much. I was going to give you a kiss there, but the camera's there.
No.